All right, I think we are live with our very first webinar with Reversa. This is very exciting. I know we've had a few technical hiccups, but hey, that's to be expected. So I'm Kim Wilkins, and I'm the co-founder of Reversa and the CEO. And
I'm Sona. I am the digital media creator here at Reversa.
So yes, all the logos that you see and the characters and the mats and everything are all because of Sona. So glad to have her here. So this is all about human-computer interaction and thinking about the ethics of robotics and getting students to think about that, because I find that often when I'm with students, especially younger ones, they don't even really know what ethics means. Mm-hmm. And so this is a great opportunity to kind of talk about, well, how do you want a robot to treat a human? So that's what this webinar is about. And let me share my screen. So there'll be obviously links to everything. There's a QR code there that you can use to get access to the slide deck. But, and there's some other awesome characters that Sona has created. So yeah, human-computer interaction, designing robots for the real world. So this doesn't require a robot or technology or anything. It's an unplugged activity, and it can be done elementary, middle, and even high school. I've done it with all age groups. So you kind of just adjust it to the sort of vocabulary and what you think that they'll understand at different levels. So today, welcome. We're going to talk about why robots, do an overview of the project. I'll show you how you can create a zine, and then we will wrap up. So starting with a welcome, we're so glad that you're either here with us live or you're watching us after the webinar. We're really excited to build a community of educators who are passionate about integrating computer science and robotics into whatever subject area you want to, whatever grade level you want to, and we're just really here to support you and help you on your journey. So why robots? We decided to create this robotics platform to kind of help teachers integrate computer science, but why do we need it? Mm-hmm. So some of the problems are that robots can be expensive. We have been collaborating on this project with some folks in Colombia, the country, at Universidad del Norte, and they have a lot of teachers who are interested in integrating computer science, especially in early education. And so when they get training about how to do that, they learn about robots, get really excited, and then find out how much they cost, and they can't really afford them. And that's just not in Colombia, but that's one example. We know that there's schools in the U.S. and all over the place that don't necessarily have the resources to spend on something that might seem extra. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's one of our goals, is to make this robot as inexpensive as we can. And then another huge problem is that teachers are not really prepared to teach CS, and that's not anything to do with them. It's to do with our teacher preparation programs. Right. So I'm actually, I got my EDD at the University of Virginia in the School of Education, and did my capstone on what's the problem? Why are we not preparing teachers yet to teach computer science? And what can we do to solve that? And we're hoping that this is one of those things we can do to solve it. Right. And I can say, as a student in a teacher preparation program, a lot of the time there's a fear to get into something that we haven't done before. Mm-hmm. But when there is good training and the resources to help support the learning for teachers, it really is easy, and it's a really good thing to have for your classroom and your students. So I'm really glad that we have these resources at Reversa to support our teachers use robots in the classroom. Great. And then sometimes we find that computer science instruction lacks relevance for students. So especially students who are underrepresented in technology. So I'm also the founder of Tech Girls, because I found in 2010, I learned that women studying computer science had gone down from 37%, representing 37% of the graduates in the late 80s when I graduated, down to 18.
Wow.
And to me, that was like very upsetting will be the word I use. And so we know that technology is like changing everything, how we do everything. And so we need to make sure that every type of person is represented in creating technology. So we have solutions that aren't just for a certain set of people.
For sure. Yeah.
So we want to make sure that our instruction excites students of a variety of backgrounds and also a variety of skill levels. Computer science is also really interesting in that it's not the standard subject area like science and math and reading. Kids can be at very wildly different levels of computer science and understanding it. And so we need to make sure that everybody, no matter what their level, feels like they belong.
Yes.
So why robots? Well, they do a really great job of supporting computer science and STEM education through physical embodied learning. And what I mean by that is when you see something, when you're making a plan for a code, and then you actually see it happening in the real world with, a robot, then it's able to take that sort of abstract concept and see it in reality. And there's a lot of research that said that's very helpful for learning.
For sure. And I've seen the robots being used in the classrooms and just the way that the kids are interacting with it. I can really see that into play in classrooms too.
It provides playful engagement, which motivates student interest. I can tell you I've taught computer science in many different environments, and anytime I bring in a stack of robots, almost all the time, all the students are very excited about what's going to happen next.
Yes, yeah.
And then it provides an alternative to screen time. So I know that is a worry more than ever, that we'd like to have ways that students can interact with the real world. And this is one of those. So what makes a robot a robot?
We have 3 categories here: sense, think, and act.
That's right. So in general, in robotics, because it's a new field, like computer science is a new field, if you talk to 3 different robotics experts, you might get 3 different variations of what makes a robot a robot. But the things that they will almost all agree on is that it senses its environment. And so, it's listening to sound, it's light sensing, it's sensing motion, temperature, things like that. Since the brains on our robot is the microbit, these are the sensors that come with that platform. And then it takes that information in and it thinks. And this is the part that kind of makes technology and computer science look like magic sometimes, because it looks like, especially autonomous robots are making decisions all by themselves. But we know that there's a ton of code taking in sensor data and making decisions based on that input.
Right. And I think it's important to teach kids this too earlier on, that the robot isn't really thinking like a human, but we're training it based on instructions that's programmed and is code.
Yep. And then finally, the robot is going to act. So based on this stuff that it sensed and the code that it's programmed with, it will do something in the real world. So it might, move its wheels. It might display something on these LEDs. It might make a noise. It might do some other interaction that has been coded to happen. So that fundamentally, that's what makes a robot a robot. So the other piece of this is, of course, that we've got these advances in AI, and it's more important than ever that we consider how humans and robots will interact, because AI will be driving the robots as well. So this activity asks you to consider, how do you want robots of the future to behave towards you and others? So the project overview, the first thing you want to do is sort of introduce robots, right? So you can find a robot-inspired read-aloud book. That's always a great way, especially for elementary. And I just today started this, a reading list of books that I know teachers use, and we'll definitely be adding. Oh, it looks like I'm not showing that on your screen, but there's a link there to a reading list, and we'll keep adding to it, and would love to have your recommendations for that. or finding videos to explore how sensors work in the real world is also a great way. There's lots of videos out there that kind of take you through that. And it's also inspiring because the things you see them do with robots now is amazing.
Yes, yes, there's so much that we can introduce kids to with these.
Yep. And then you're going to remix some robot assistance scenarios. So let's see. Oh, I can share this tab instead. Excellent. Great. So these are just scenarios to get you started. I have tested these in a variety of environments, so I know that they work sort of across the board, but you're also welcome to remix this and add your own scenarios, maybe even get the kids to brainstorm if you have time. But in general, the scenarios are, populations around the world are getting older. Can you design a robot that supports older adults with their daily routines or companionship?
Okay.
And as they're thinking about this challenge, we want them to consider the user's perspective. What are the things, design principles that they would think were most important in their robot? But then we also want you as a designer to input your design into as well. So just, identifying one design principle that reflects your own personal design style.
Absolutely, yeah.
So another example is Joyful Companion Bot. So, everyone gets lonely sometimes. And in fact, there's recent studies that this is more and more of a problem. And so because, we're working remotely, we're, spending a lot of time on the screens again. Right. How can we create a robot to lift someone's spirit through movement, color, music, or just whatever way they can interact with humans? Another scenario is a kindness coach. So we know that some students struggle with social interactions or, when they get overwhelmed by things. And so could we create a robot to help them through those challenges? Yeah,
that'd be awesome too.
And then finally, hard hat helper. So construction and repair work and, there's other sorts of dangerous work that if we could have robots do more of the dangerous stuff so humans didn't have to, that seems like a great situation.
Yes.
So those, again, are just examples. You are welcome to remix this and do whatever you'd like with it. All right, let's see if I can do this. Oh, this is great. All right, and then once they've sort of identified a plan, they're going to create their robot zine. And again, this is what it looks like. You can print this out or you can use a plain piece of paper. It really doesn't matter. But this is just a nice kind of reference for doing it. And I'm going to go through each of these pieces. But a robot zine Zine has been around for a long time. They're like these little self-published magazines. And a lot of authors use them to share their own voice. When they can't get published or they can't do something on a bigger scale, like anybody can create a zine.
Right.
And so it's a way to have students share their voice.
I love that. Yeah.
So I'm going to go through the whole process of how you create the zine.
Okay.
But then the final step is, if you have time, they could bring their robot design to life. So they could model it with craft items. They could pitch their design in some way. Or you can prototype using Reversa, Hummingbird kits, Makey-Makeys. These are all great platforms for doing prototyping with robotics.
Right. And I'm even thinking, like, if they want to create a costume for their Reversa robot, this
for sure
could be like a prototype for that.
Yep. All right. So as the inventor, your name goes on the front. And yeah, I'll do this first and then I'll show you my example. And then this is where the sketch of your design goes and where you label its features. This is where you'll talk about the sensors, the special powers that your robot has and why. And then what rules should govern your robot and how it interacts with humans. And that will be your code of conduct. And codes of conduct, I think, are a great thing to talk to kids about because you have them in your class, whether you call it a code of conduct, it's how you're going to behave toward each other. But even as adults, we have codes of conduct so that we know how we should interact with each other. Yes. And so it'd be good for robots to have those as well.
I agree.
And we can't see this here. I'm just going to move this for Sona, but here's this was at one of our Tech Girls events a very young one.
Yeah. Seems so interested in robotics already.
Yep. And then the folding instructions. Okay, so for that, I'm going to stop sharing. Here is your paper. Again, it can be in plain piece of paper, but it's just a regular size piece of paper. And the first thing you're going to do is fold it. I think this is called hot dog style.
Yep.
And I'm just going to put it down for a bit so I can press it down, but like this. All right, and then you're going to fold it in half this way.
All right.
All right, so far so good.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to put it down so I can fold it.
Fold that down.
Okay, so now it should look like this. And then you're going to take these two flaps and fold each of them down so they meet up with the bottom of the side there. And take that down. And then the same thing with the other one, you fold it so it does this. All right, so at this stage, you should have something that looks all folded up. And as you're doing this with students, you'll probably want to take breaks in between the steps and maybe have folks that are struggling, folks that have got theirs done, help folks that are struggling, not do it for them, but offer assistance. Okay, now we're going to get to sort of this origami part. Okay. So you're going to unfold it all back into sheet mode, and then you're going to fold it the short way, like that. Okay. All right, so now it should be like this. And then you've got this crease down the center, not where the edges are, but where the fold is, you're going to cut. So I'm going to cut down right until it meets where the folds meet in the middle. So right there. So people are going to mess this up. They're going to cut on the side with the flaps. So print extra. And that's also why I don't have kids start by filling it out. Okay. I have them start by making it. So if they make a mistake, they haven't ruined their creation. Fun. Yeah. Yes. And then you're going to bring it back out and you're going to kind of do this accordion thing. And then you're going to smush it all together. And it doesn't have to be, the thing about zines is they don't have to be perfect.
That's a neat little booklet now.
And so now I've got my front page, my robots, special powers, code of conduct, and the end.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so here's my robot. It is the Walkbot.
All right.
So I fractured my femur a few years ago, and I had a lot of recovery, and going upstairs was very, very challenging. And I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if there was some robot that could help me?
Yeah.
So my sensors are one that I can input the level of help that I want. So, sometimes my dad also has struggles with movement. And so he might need more assistance than I would need as I was recovering from an injury.
Right.
And depending on where you are in the injury recovery, you may need more or less assistance. And then my other sensor is sensing the stairs, like how many are there, things like that.
I like that.
So yeah, my special powers are senses level of help needed, senses type of stairs, the length, the amount, and the number, and adjust to fit the user. And then my code of conduct are keeps humans safe on the stairs. The level of help is based on user input, so the robot can't, go crazy. And then it's got some self-diagnosing when issues occur. And that's it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. All right, so that is the Robot Zine in a nutshell. Here are some examples of what you could do later. So this is an example of a design using, reflecting the design based on craft materials, which I think is awesome. And then here's some ideas for if you want kids to pitch their story. So that's, the earlier one is probably more elementary school age appropriate activity. This would be great for middle school students. So they can create a news video to break the story. They can create a slide deck to pitch to investors. They can show their robot design in action with a Scratch project. And then they could also prototype their robot, but then do some sort of stop motion capture.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, we made it. Thank you for being with us on our very first webinar and helping, being with us through these tech challenges. I promise we'll get better at it. We're so happy that you have been able to see this. We have another webinar coming up December 3rd, where we're going to do the Hour of Code is now Hour of AI, which is new. I just found that out last week. And the microbit, again, the brains for Reversa, has this tool called Create AI, where you can use machine learning and stuff. So I'm going to explore it as well. So I actually haven't done a whole lot of stuff with this. So this is going to be new to me. So we might be learning a little together. But I think that is a great way to model things. So we hope you can join for that or watch it later. And then we'll be at the VISTI conference December 7th through 9th. So if you're there, definitely come and see us. And we have this community on Circle. So it's reverso.circle.so. And it's also on our website. But we would love for you to join us. So you can join for free. You'll get access to webinars and curriculum and some courses. And then we'll have other professional development courses where you can earn micro-credentials and certifications and stuff like that that you can pay for later.
Yes. Oh, that sounds really exciting.
All right. Have a great evening.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.